Alright guys, welcome all to this workshop. I think most of you have been here before, you know how it works. This is Mary Madison. This tree is going to be raffled off at the end. $2 raffle tickets. Buy them with me today, not Mary. She's not here today. And I'm going to give the floor over to you. Good luck. Not that you need it.
Or a little luck helps.
Absolutely.
Branches I want to keep and the ones I want to get rid of. A lot of it. Okay, let's see. This, and this. One thing, it's in good condition. Time in Washington, D.C., John Naka was doing, working on one of my buttonwoods for a big demonstration, and he cut a lot of large branches off, and people were bidding on it, and it was so funny. They made a lot of money off of that one tree. On the ones I cut off, because some of them were, you know, like that big around. So what I'm doing now is just getting to a point where I can see what I'm doing. There's a couple ways I could go on this. But I don't think I'll go the way I was just thinking. I'm going to set these in here. These wooden, where it's hardwood, they will root real easily. So I'll just set them right in here, because someone might like to fool with them at no charge. When they're soft like this, then they don't root. But
why do you specialize in these trees?
Why? They do everything I want them to do. Oh, and you can cut back a great big hunk and it'll bud back. They don't need much care. Very little care, just, you know, the water, the light, and keep them warm. And they show age. The real old ones are really ancient trees because they're found growing in a solid, it looks almost like poured cement. And a lot of times you have to chip them out with a chisel, and that's not fun in the 100-degree weather, you know. That's pretty bad.
Do you fertilize buttonwoods?
Yes, and they like fish emulsion a lot. If they sort of yellowish and not thriving, a little fish emulsion on it, and they'll perk up and turn a dark green. Now these trees, I don't know where you got them, but they've been fertilized a lot. They have all that growth on it. And they actually don't get many bugs on them, you know, insects and all. And if they do, the Bayer products are really good. And also, if your trees or leaves are chewed up, I just cut them off because they come right back. Just get rid of them.
So I guess ants is one of the insects that they get, huh?
Yeah. Okay, I'm trying to figure out I think this will be my front. I don't know if you can see it, but let's see if I can pick this up. Can you see the shape of it? Mm-hmm. One coming out to the side and one going straight up. And okay. This one I could make, I'm going to start on the side one first. And see what I want to keep and what I want to get rid of. One thing they don't like, and I don't even know that they sell it anymore, is malathion. Don't ever use malathion on them. It will kill one the fastest that I've ever seen. Okay, now this one, see this branch here? All right, I can cut it off here and go with this one, or I can go all the way to the end and go with the other one. But I can't keep both of them. So I think I will go with the longest one and take this one out. Let me study it just another minute here. Just changing my mind. I'm going to take off this piece here and keep that one. Someone come up here and hold this for me. Just to hold on so it doesn't. I might have to make a couple cuts on this. Let's see. Good thing I've got muscles.
How Mary?
Well, it'll pop in just a minute, I hope.
Slow and steady, right?
Yes, I do need a little help. Look.
So you're thinking of this whole bottom branch here, right?
Mhm.
How much of this going through? Oh, nothing. You don't have a bigger cutter than this, do you?
No, that's my largest one
I got it. It's coming now.
Okay.
Show hand, anyone?
I'll
Did I
take
get
it.
cut, or you want to clean it up?
Well, that'll do for now.
Okay.
You can clean that up later. Okay, now let me look at this other side. Well, cut some more branches off
Sure.
so I can see in here. All right, we've got a curve. See, that's The other tree didn't have as nice a curve as this one. It's got a nice curve coming up here. And then we'll make this one on the straight side and kind of go like that. That's what I have in mind now. I'm able to change it.
Have you ever used a silver buttonwood before?
Yes.
Bonsai? Do they
Mhm.
make good bonsais?
Some of them do. I've seen them half and half, silver and green at
Really?
the same time, and the seeds just mixed up, and the whole tree is like that. Real silver and real green.
Some of the silver ones you see are really, really nice.
There's down in Key West, you'll see silver ones that big around growing on some of the side streets there, and they are beautiful. And they seem to weep more and have the branching more out like that than the green ones do, the pure silvers.
And do they respond the same to
Same.
cuttings and everything?
Their leaves are a little thinner, it seems like. They're not quite as rambunctious as the green ones. Okay. If you have any questions, just go ahead and sound off. Okay, here's a branch that is too heavy. And it's right between the two trees, so I'm going to take it off.
Do you want the tree a little higher? Or are you okay? The height?
It's okay. Sometimes it's hard to get in here. There. There. When it comes time to wiring, I'll get you to help me.
Sounds good. I'm waiting right here for instructions.
Okay, now that it's starting to look like a little tree. See, when you start, you thin it out, it's no longer a bush. I'll be doing more cutting on it after a while. I'll work on this some. It's really got the branches. So that's good.
When you go to a nursery to find something like this, what do you primarily look for as far as growth?
I don't really, when I'm going to dig one, I don't pay any attention to what's up top. I look down here.
Trunk?
And then the shape, and then make sure it's alive. Look at the top, because you can grow the foliage very easy. It's simple.
Is it best to collect one in warm weather?
Hot weather.
Hot weather.
Right now.
Same goes for repotting, right?
Yes.
Mary, what was the, Britt's asking, what was the place you went to?
I'm not gonna tell.
It's on I-95 exit 20.
Well, I'll tell you right where
Yeah.
it is. It's between Key Largo and Key West. When I was a kid, I used to go down to Key West a lot with my dad. He was taking things down to, they were building the Naval Air Base down there. Our Naval, ship?
It's an air base.
Air Base. And I always looked at these trees. Roll alongside the road, I still do. Everywhere I go is, I'm always analyzing what I see and think, oh, if they just take that branch off. Of course, the tree's about 10, 15, 20 feet tall, you know, something like that. Now, buttonwoods in their, if they are left alone and growing in good soil, they get huge. I mean, really big and really tall. But in poor conditions, then they get the dead wood and all of that. That's from the salt and the sun, and when they come up through the rocks, that scrapes them, and then they come out the way we like them.
Yes.
Beat up looking old trees.
Sometimes I saw the ones that you had at your house that were burned on the outside
Mhm.
from the wildfires. So they're pretty strong. I mean,
Oh, they're very strong.
not even the wildfire can kill one.
Yeah.
Only salt water kills them.
An abundance of salt water. They tolerate a certain amount of it because they get it all the time. But that will kill it, and also if you spray it with the wrong insecticides, that will kill it. Diazinon and things like that. They don't like that. So unless you really have a problem, don't use anything on them. Hose them down real good. I used to wash them, my trees with a scrub brush all the time. Little ivory soap and water, and just wash them. And that works good. Okay, we've got a lot of branches up in here. And we've got a nice lead there. So I'll clean this out a little bit more so I can show you where I'm going with it. It's like a stump where it was cut before. There, and then it really took off. It's got branches going like a spoke out here in the top. So I can pick and choose what I want. One time, my husband and I had been out and came home and went on to bed, you know, and I got a call the next morning from Maina Hutchinson. She used to be president of BSF, and she said, "Are you missing anything?" I said, "What are you talking about?" She said, "Well, are you missing any of your trees?" I said, "I don't know. Wait a minute." I went out and 25 or 30 of my show trees were gone. They were gone. And I was wondering when we got home, had a big Doberman, and he was nervous, really nervous, and I saw scratch marks on our glass sliding door where he tried to get out. And I wish he had. He would have really got those guys. And so she said, well, I have this friend that lives over, and she told me where in Miami. And they saw a suspicious truck around, and they called the police. The police came, and it was filled full of bonsai trees. And she said from the way they described it, it sounded like yours. I said it was. It was mine. And then I got the jitters, you know. Oh gosh, they've ruined them, and they broke the pots and all like that. And the police even got to a point where they chased them, and they didn't catch them. And they even had dogs after them. But I did get all my trees back.
Oh,
And the police were so great. They said, we know, you know, about your trees and all of that. So we don't want to touch them. Could you send someone to take them out of this trailer that these people had? And when we looked at the trailer, there was a dolly in there. And this bar we used to go to, there's a guy that would sell meat and stuff, and I think he was stealing it because he'd always come in with steaks real cheap and all this kind of stuff. And I knew right then who did it. I couldn't prove it, but I know who did it.
At least you got them back, right?
I got every one of them back in good condition. And they even took one out of the pot and wrapped my pot up and put it in the front seat so it wouldn't get broken because they wanted
They knew what they were doing.
They knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
So I started putting two and two together, and I knew exactly who did it. And there had been a man at the house looking at my trees the week before, and this person that I know that did it worked for that guy. And so they had it all set, because how in the middle, late at night, would you know, which trees to take and which trees to leave? He took only the best. He had good taste.
Did they get damaged in any way, or?
No,
No,
they weren't damaged
You got really lucky.
any way at all. Okay, I'm getting up here in the spoke. Here's a bad branch. I don't like it too well. I don't know if I'm going to need it or not. But, let's see.
Why don't you like it?
I just don't like it. It's stuffy.
Okay.
Let's see. Here it is. But I'm not going to take it off yet. Mom?
I just wanted to know, are you working on the front right now or the back, or you don't know yet?
This is the front.
Gotcha, facing. Oh, now I see. Okay, great.
But it's real heavy right in here.
Spiking microcarpa? Tiger bark? This is tiger bark spiking? Okay.
Sometimes it's hard to get in these tight spots. There, finally got that little guy out.
So was that the only time that somebody stole your trees, or?
Well, no,
It happens.
Do you have another great story like that?
person that used to take him from the house, I know very well. But I think he was a kleptomaniac. I don't think he could help it. 'Cause I'm not gonna say who it is, but,
He's not here though, right?
oh no, he's not here. He just couldn't resist, and the reason I know what made me suspicious of, I went out to water the trees after he'd been there one day, and I watered, I had a great little shohin, oh, it was beautiful, and it wasn't there. Here I'm standing there, where's my tree? And so, years went by, year or two, something like that. He came by. He says, "I've got a present for you." Oh, I said, "Well, thank you." It was the pot
Oh!
that we had been in. And then other things happened, and
Did you call him out?
I called him when he stole one of my good pots. I didn't let on at that time because I'm still trying to figure out, you know, things. And then Terry was at home, and she didn't want to talk to him, so she just didn't answer the door. And I was gone. And just in time, she looked out the window and saw him reaching over the fence, getting one of my real good pots. So I called him, and I told him, and I called him by name, you know, and I said, "You know that pot you took from the house?" I said, "I want it back. It's not for sale." Oh, boy, was there some stuttering going on. He brought it back. I was serious. By that time, I had him pegged.
Right.
And then I'd heard that from other people too. So you've got to watch.
It's quite hard to steal your short trees because they're all so big, you know.
I know.
So if you want to steal one of those, you really have to plan.
And you
Because
really have to be strong.
I'm more than one person.
Okay, now, coming up to the top of this tree, we've got two. And we have to get rid of one.
Choose an apex, right?
Yes, I'm choosing the apex now. So, do we want it to go this way or that way?
My left side, your right.
You go this way and you said that way? Well, let me see.
Well, actually, and I'm looking at the balance of the tree, she's right. Because there's more on that side, so that would even out the balance a little more. So my branch was wrong. That
Okay.
one's key.
Keep that one and get rid of that
Yeah,
one.
she was right.
Or at least shorten it and let it
Exactly.
come out.
Be the secondary.
Because from here you can't, when you're working down like this, usually at home I get way off. I'll get
Hard to see
25 or
for
30
sure.
feet away and look and make up my mind. Okay, I'll just shorten this one and keep this one.
I like shortening it because it makes a secondary branch. Is that like fig where if you cut it from there, it's gonna
It'll branch out.
it'll ramify from that point.
It'll bud back.
And even split probably.
Let's see. Did I take off the right one?
I think so.
Okay, and we've got a heavy one at the top and the back here. And I'm going to keep this small one here. In fact, I'm going to take this off all the way here and keep this small one and bring it over. And it gives it better taper and everything. The With these trees, it's like I said, it's just like a puzzle. You start taking off one and one, and then it'll start talk to you.
Yeah.
So I didn't get them all.
Nope, not quite.
I heard somewhere that ants, like I get them all over my trees, but then sometimes when you get spider mites, it's kind of correlated with the amount of ants on the tree. Is that true?
Yeah.
An aphid.
So I read that what it is that usually the ants carry them
Yes.
because the ants will eat that honeysuckle that they create, that stickiness that they create.
Yeah.
So that's why it's beneficial for the ants. So usually the ants carry it on their body, drop it off in the tree, hang out for a little bit, eat up that sap. It's like sugar.
What do you use, neem oil?
Yeah, neem oil or bear as a 3-in-1. And literally you gotta get out there with a toothbrush.
Yeah.
Every single leaf on top and the
I
bottom.
water my neem oil down. Am I just needing some washing?
No, I think you're good.
You know that branch I didn't like? No, it's coming off. There, that one. It was an ugly branch.
Coming at you?
No, it was just stumpy. Okay. Did I keep the right one?
Yeah, I think we're going
Okay.
in a good direction.
It's pretty straight, but that's okay. We could bring these branches.
You could even wire, that's thin enough, you could probably even wire it. Right?
I don't know.
It was pretty thick.
It would break.
So that's not as, I'm thinking like fig, if it was a fig, you could wire it, because that's more bendy. This is more of a brittle type branch.
Very brittle.
It's like bougainvillea or something like that, right? And if you wire them, they break, they'll break. What you do. I've never worked much with one.
Okay, Jerome, I'm about ready.
Alright.
A little bit of wiring. Yeah, you don't want to slide in that. Okay, I think we have it manageable now. First one, wire this one over this way.
This one?
That little one.
Okay.
Okay, it might need a little bit of cleaning up right there. Not all the way.
Right, you can try the last one and see.
Can you imagine how much stuff we took off of that tree?
So you just want this apex to come over? huh?
Yes.
And are you going to keep all the other branches up here, the thicker ones, or?
Yes, I'm gonna keep that and then just bring this over to fill in right here.
Okay.
See, like that. Okay. Get
Why
busy.
this one with this one? I don't know why these things do
Yes.
Yeah.
Is there anyone here that went to the convention? I think you said you did, didn't you?
Yes.
Okay, yes. Did you watch my demonstration? It was Jim Van Langenkamp that did the other tree. And when he got through, it was a ficus that was just nothing but leaves on. Didn't have a leaf left on it. It was just branches cut. But that's what he had to do with it.
Sometimes
There
you
was
have to defold.
no other way.
Yeah, especially ficus, they get the very big leaves
Yeah.
when it's like growing.
No, you didn't
shoot.
defoliate, there was nothing.
There was nothing.
There's like 3 branches there, right?
Just
Ficus
about like
really
that.
will
Yes.
grow back from.
But,
I remember he was talking about that one branch at the bottom, the big one.
yeah.
He's like, I really love this branch. And then he's like, you know what? I hate it. Let's get rid of it. And then it's about 10. What else do you want to like?
Okay,
Nothing.
Jim, you should start on the bottom of my apple.
yes. I'm gonna let him do the wiring.
Yeah, I was watching a Bonsai Bonsai video, Bonsai Association of Portland, and they were talking a lot about how photosynthesis is a big factor for the energy of a tree. So when you defoliate a tree like that, you're taking away the plant's solar panel. You know, so in a way, it's like for the overall plant health, it's very hard, but sometimes in bonsai, we find ourselves where we have to defoliate. But now ficus is a species, if I'm right, where
Well, these you can defoliate
and
completely.
ficus pretty much too, if it's
Yeah.
depending on the variety, but certainly like a juniper you could defoliate.
No, no, it would stay that way.
It would stay that way, absolutely. So it all depends on the species of tree.
Right.
Which one of the two not
Juniper.
And black pines.
Pretty
And
much
pines.
Oh,
any
yeah, black
evergreen
pines.
deciduous trees can take defoliation because they're used to doing that in the winter.
Well, you know what makes a beautiful tree, and it's Australian pine.
I love trees.
They are really
Those
pretty.
and acacia, the whole acacia family, like monkey-thorn acacias, and the rain trees, the Brazilian rain trees,
Yeah.
and the Jamaican rain trees. Those are my favorite varieties. Between those two.
Oh, I have a big Australian pine. I mean, it's about this big.
And they grow really good in this
Soft.
climate.
And you,
Oh,
what I
that's
do,
a
it's
good
not a pine really, it's totally different. And people that try to treat them like a pine kill them
But I
because
can't
they don't
keep a-
water them.
Yeah, I can't keep a black pine alive for anything. I can't. I kill them like left and right because I have no experience with it.
But you know, the foliage on an Australian pine sometimes is, you know, this long.
Yeah.
So when I'm out there,
The needle.
the needles, yeah. And I just grab the whole thing and cut them off like that.
Like the cones from the cone?
And just cut them like
Like
that.
the tips of the cones.
And now they will show a little dead spot, a brown spot
Gotcha.
at the end, but that drops off in a couple days.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you've got the short needles on it, and it makes them look really nice.
I have another person in the South Florida bonsai community here that he cuts his pine needles like in half. And I'm like, they just die and fall off.
I just roll them up.
You know,
Because
but that,
the tree
way
is
you're
so
doing it
big,
teaches them to grow
I would be
smaller.
forever if I was doing each little one or trying to break it off, you know. And there's little sections anyway on them, and it just dives back to that, and it drops right off, and it works out great.
Yeah.
And you can
Which is
carve
what
them
happens when
too.
you cut it halfway anyways, the whole thing's gonna die.
Black pine is all about doing it at the right time of the year, you know?
Is the repotting and everything.
Everything.
That's probably what I
Needle
did. I
pruning,
repotted
everything.
just at any random time.
When is the right time though?
For what?
Early
To,
spring,
to repot, you want to do it in the winter,
Winter.
like
Yeah, late
December,
winter.
January.
late winter
But
and
needle
grow.
pruning, you do it around mid-June, I know it's June.
April.
Depends where you are.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
down here in Florida, where you have 2 growing seasons in South Florida, I do mine in June,
Yeah,
like late June.
that's the second dormancy period.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
I had a nice one, and it was
Did it get
sitting
stolen?
up. No, it was up on a pedestal, and the ex-son-in-law hit the pedestal, knocked it over, and cracked off. It was a semi-cascade, and it was in a real beautiful pot, you know, and it just slowly died after that. There was a lot of reasons she divorced him.
This was one of them?
But he's still around. Yeah, I know he's still around. We've tried.
Do you want to do secondary branches too, or just
No,
wire,
just the main
just
branches.
main branches?
Yeah. The secondary ones are so, you know, soft.
Yeah, there's a few at the bottom.
You could do it with a little tiny wire, but we don't have that much time.
Good point.
But last time I was down on the Keys, my oldest daughter built a house down there. That's real convenient. And he has a boat. And so we went out and we went over to an island. And I found these little Australian pines, only about this tall, with shape to them. You know, usually they're straight up and down, with nice shapes to them. And I've got about 6 or 7 now that are gonna be really good.
What do you have in mind with this big branch up here? This is not part of your acreage, right? Oh, this is your acreage, right?
This, well, this is the one I've been studying over, and he told me to keep that one.
You would?
We were
If
debating
we
it,
do,
and
we'd have
you
to
know,
bring
what
the
would
branches
Because
down.
it's really long and straight and really thick.
Yeah,
No, I
Which you
definitely
could probably
don't.
not see.
I was just saying for
Let's
the
get rid
balance,
of
because
it.
you
I
have
think take it out, right?
I think take it out.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's just, I don't like either one of the branches that we're showing.
He's responsible.
Uh,
Show me the bit?
Yeah, can
Hey,
you
you
get it
didn't
from
give us
that
that.
side?
You didn't give us choice C. That was
There is no choice.
well, both of them.
Yeah, both of them.
That's
So-
choice C.
Okay, that's better.
I like it.
That's a
We've
lot.
got a
Yeah.
little apex
It
here.
opened it up more. Yeah.
Yeah, that one bothered me too.
He's
It was
responsible.
so
My
straight,
fault.
you know, and stiff.
And what about these two? Can you combine these two as well, or are you going to remove them? Remove them?
I think remove. Because
It's going to go back into the
it's
tree.
going into the tree.
And this one you're not going to down there, right? Oh,
No, I'm gonna take it off too. There's always adjustments you have to make as you go along. You're sure of a way, and then you change your mind. Balance.
Like light.
Whoops.
sorry. Yeah, I think you're good, right?
Okay, I think that's pretty good to go. Well, this is the first, you know, pruning on it and everything, and so it's not a finished tree by all means, because it takes cutting back several more times before you want to do anything with it. But that's the way it is for now. Okay?
Excellent.
But don't be afraid of cutting back on your trees, because it only makes them look better. And if you've got a bad branch, it'll always be a bad branch. Get rid of it.